Hello my friends and fellow VEDSies, it is take 2 of this video, cause I accidentally deleted all of the footage for this one. Number 15, Ant-Man. Don't get me wrong, Ant-Man's funny. Ant-Man has charm and some fun characters. The first is simple and something Marvel struggles with a lot. It has a bland-ass villain. What's this one's name even? I don't know. But the other thing that I'm not crazy about in Ant-Man is the reason I can't watch the movie, like, at all. I can only watch individual scenes. And that's the animal abuse. So, generic baddie is testing the shrink technology, and in order to test it, he needs animal subjects. They're either goats or sheep. There's something cute and barnyardy. And he's testing it, and the animal just turns to goop right there. And he's just like, clean up and bring in the next subject. Doesn't really inform anything about his character. It's just upsetting to me. I don't like it. In fact, I can't watch the first half of the movie because every time I freak out that it's gonna be that scene, and so I leave, and then I'm either running back and forth to do the entire first half of the movie, or I just don't watch the first half of the movie. And I get that that's a dumb reason not to put this movie higher, but I can't watch it. So, in theory, it should probably be lower. Number 14, Captain America Civil War. Let's just get this out of the way. I knew the twist back in Winter Soldier. It was not a surprise at all. But that's not why it is as low as it is, although I would argue it's not really that low. It's definitely in the good movie section. And there's a few reasons, not the least of which is that Steve Rogers kisses the niece of a woman who A, just died, and B, he totally made out with. Which is weird, Steve. And aside from that, there's not that much Captain America in Captain America. It's more like an Avengers film. It feels like there's a Cap film and an Avengers film, and they're fighting for screen time. And that's not just in the story, it's the tone as well. There's some scenes that are super hard-hitting and dramatic, and some that are just pure goofiness. And while I like both styles, I just wish they would have gone one way or the other. Basically, there's some fun stuff, but it also doesn't feel like it always knows what it wants to be, and that's a problem. Just like kissing the lady you totally were gonna marry's niece. It's weird, Steve. Number 13 is Iron Man 3. I love a lot of the things that they do in Iron Man 3. I love the idea of giving him PTSD, of him having panic attacks, of him having his suit taken away, of him having to be alone, of him working with a kid. There's a lot of cool things going on with Tony in this story. And I actually like the Mandarin twist. I know that people who read the comics were very disappointed by the Mandarin twist. And I can see why. But I don't read the comic. Honestly, what I think this movie suffers from is the trilogy all being too similar. I think if Iron Man 2 had been a little more unique, that there wouldn't be as many of the complaints, because most of what I hear is, it's another corporate villain, we're doing this again, we're doing this again. And yeah, we're doing this again, but we're doing it so much better than we did in Iron Man 2. Maybe not as good as in Iron Man 1, but better than Iron Man 2. And I think that if Iron Man 2 had done some things different, it would have felt very new and very interesting and very refreshing. And then all we would have had to deal with is a not that great kid character, because let's face it, Harley's just proto-Peter, and he's fine, I guess, but he's not great. But you know what is great? That guy, the one who's like, I hate working here, they're so weird. That guy is great. Did he survive the snap? Can we get tabs on him? We know about Galaga Guy. Do we know about that guy? Speaking of Galaga Guy, number 12 is Avenger. Now, I'd seen all of the MCU films before Avengers, kinda, sorta. My dad would watch them when they're on TV, and I would be in the room, and I'd look up, and I'd make comments, but I wasn't really paying attention to them. I was usually reading or writing or doing homework and just wanted to be in the room with him. But Avengers, we went to see in theaters. In fact, we went to see it in theaters 5 times. So, as you can guess, I really, really liked this movie. And I still do. It was such a groundbreaking achievement. Nothing like that had ever been done before. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have flaws. One of my main complaints is the fact that I think it's a bit weird that the god of mischief is more of a fascist than an anarchist. That doesn't seem to be in line. I've seen theories that Loki was mind-controlled by Thanos and da-da-da-da-da. And if that's the case, I'm down for that, but it's not canon, so I'm just kind of left wondering why he's talking about how they crave subjugation and such. It doesn't make sense with what we see in any of the other films. And also, there's another thing. Everyone is Tony Stark. And I know I was just talking about how much I love Tony Stark, but when you're doing a crossover, you don't want everyone to be the same. The whole idea of a crossover is to get characters that are very different and toss them at each other and see how they interact, whether they are struggling to build a team like in Avengers or if they're fighting like Civil War, Batman versus Superman. It's what makes them different that makes them interesting. And in this film, no one has a unique identity. They have a unique aesthetic, but not a unique identity. If you had all of the backstories and personalities of the Avengers characters and hadn't seen the movie, and I gave you any line from that movie, you wouldn't be able to guess who said what, because no one has a unique identity or a unique sense of humor. The only thing that makes them different are their stats. It's Bruce talking about the other guy. It's Cap understanding that reference. It's not their personalities being different. It's just the circumstances. And that's why it's not that great of a crossover. It's an impressive crossover, but you're not gonna find a lot of fun interaction because everyone is the same. Number 11, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not only are the individual characters fully realized, but their relationships with one another are better realized. There's stronger connections and friendships and who likes who and who's annoyed by who and who wants to impress who. And the ex-con guys are in this one so much more. which is great because they're great and I need so much more of them. I need them in everything. I love these guys. They're so funny, and to put them more in the action was a great choice. Another great choice was to evolve the powers of the shrink suits, and they shrink a lot more things in this film. They make things bigger, they make things smaller, they transport things. There's so much going on with the size changing in this film, and they get so creative, and it's so fun to watch. I love Ghost. I find her to be a really intriguing and compelling villain. I just wish Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in the movie as much, because their dynamic is kind of interesting, but only kind of. And I feel like they focus on his character way more than hers, and it should be more on her. And the other thing about this film is that the end credit scenes are the worst. The first is the mid-credit scene, and you know where it's going the instant they set it up. Oh, Scott, you're going to go into the quantum realm, and we three are going to stay here, and you are going to go in, and we will get you out when we are ready. And it's just like, oh my god, they're all gonna die because of the snap. Just do it. Just don't milk it out. And I get that they had to incorporate Infinity War into this film. I mean, if they hadn't shown us what happened, I would have been way more pissed. But think about what they could have done with this. What if Hank is the one who survives, and Hope and Janet aren't there, and Scott's not there, and so all of the people he cares about are gone? What if Cassie disappears in front of Scott? It's just so cheap and so obvious, and if there was something else exciting at the end credit scene, I could buy it, but that's not what they do. They just troll us. And a trolling end credit scene isn't inherently bad. Spider-Man Homecoming has a trolling end credit scene, but Spider-Man Homecoming doesn't kill 3 of the main characters in the mid-credit scene, so it can get away with a little more. You could have put just about anything as the end credit scene here, and it would have been fine. You could have shown the FBI guy waiting to go have coffee with Scott, and Scott's not there, and he's sad, and people start disappearing around him. That's more interesting than what you gave us. People in my theater were fucking screaming, and I'm surprised no one threw anything when that question mark bullshit happened. It was just pissing us off, just to piss us off. It wasn't funny, it wasn't clever, it was just pissing us off. And it sucks that they were just trying to piss us off, because if they'd gone more dramatic or more comedic, either way, we would have enjoyed it, and it wouldn't have left this sour taste in my mouth at the end of the movie, and this film would have made the top 10 if it didn't have these goddamn end credit scenes. Believe it or not, this is less than I talked about the end credit scenes of Ant-Man and the Wasp in the original cut. Top 10 next time. I'll see you tomorrow, Vedsies.